Yes, silly me. Okay, maybe I should give it a couple minutes then. See if who rolls in. Put the wrong time in. Huh? On 12 hours from now. I'll be right back. 12 hours. My coach isn't calling that badly. Okay, 7 of you in here. It's because I'm not tired. There you go. I don't know. Oh, now there's 3. Oh, now there's 10. Are you messing with my numbers again? Maybe Heidi. We're waiting on Heidi. All right, 12 of you. Okay. So we kind of got a background now. If we look at to some extent, because I'm going to get into more of the background later, but about leather and the RCMP's, specifically leather response, because it is specific to leather. There's other places that were not in favor of that, and he quite clearly said that, or at least alluded to it, but I think it was pretty strong about the referral. Okay, so this was then the hello, howdy, Julia, Nikki. Oh dear, good. Blue Nose, Linda M, and Ken. Okay, so this was the 29th update that was drafted. Okay, so this is now going off to the commissioner, right? So we're really working our way up the food chain. By this point, current status, October 26th, the CERT director advised that the H Division Criminal Ops advised the criminal ops that CERT would not be investigating this matter. So, but he still wants to push ahead. Ricky, he being Leather. When I thought that interview really called out a lot of people, and a lot of people need to come back and answer questions now. There have to be more hearings and more evidence produced in terms of this, and we'll get into why this is so serious. So the option of reporting potential, so they're looking at other ways now to deal with this. Police Act violation, Nova Scotia Police Complaints Commissioner, over the OPCC oversees complaints alleging misconduct by municipal police forces. Alternatively, a complaint could be made to blank Police Board of Commissioners. Still haven't quite figured out this one, but sure, just with a little bit of digging we can. How this information was obtained by the RCMP is linked to the mass pending mass shooting public inquiry, Nova Scotia, in relation to the blank issues with blank. Okay, in inquiries, orders, blah blah blah. So there's a couple of things in their mandate that I think stand out. It's communications between the RCMP and municipal forces. I think, is the standout issue, which is why they're saying that it must be recommended. Now, Bergerman signs off on this. It then, there's a form, I don't know if I have that window open. It's a green window. Sorry, a green, the printing is in green, the SITREP report that goes off to Ottawa to the commissioner, though I think the first one goes off to her too, which I find very interesting. SITREP. Let's see if I can SITREP October 30. Okay, here we go. The first page of the 30th SITREP is blank. Clearly something there. I mean, this is a piece of paper, I would say, sitting on the photocopier. You know, you can see some edges and some crap, so they're blocking whatever the first page is. Oh, this isn't it. It's green. Oh, balls. Sorry. I thought this was the one. Okay, so that one, they are keeping back. You know, maybe it won't be. I might have it in a window somewhere. One moment, please. Okay, I'm not going to go there right now. Okay, so if you go to the Mass Casualties website and you put in leather notes, one of the new releases was this one, July. Okay, so this was one of the newest releases. And it reads as follows. Tuesday, July 7th. This is Leather's notebook. Irrelevant personal information, irrelevant, met with 10-35, met with Costa and Janice. Personal information, statement at Crops, pre-meeting with commanding officer, irrelevant. 2-hour recorded statement, irrelevant. Make note of what the irrelevant is, because this should really piss people off. The irrelevant is not irrelevant, and this is illegal, in my opinion. And I'm not meaning that with hyperbole. I actually do believe this is technically illegal, what they're doing. Future of JFO, MCU, irrelevant personal information. How came to light? Through irrelevant personal information, irrelevant operational input, post-Porta-Pick. Sex, privileged information. Okay, now we're into something else. And this is now, we're into a security issue or a legal one. Privileged information issues, predatory allegations, irrelevant personal information, focus of much of the information of impropriety, irrelevant personal information, has knowledge of some of the information, irrelevant personal information confided in, irrelevant personal information a couple of days to go on the preliminary report. Okay, so there's a preliminary report that's being drafted to supplement the SITREP, which I believe gets provided to Felix, as well as obviously the hierarchy of the RCMP down in Ottawa and in HDIV, to Bergerman, irrelevant will not back up our members on calls. Well, that's a very serious statement. Very serious. Irrelevant personal information, big RCMP hater. Met brief commanding officer on the irrelevant matter. Gray, Diamopoulos, commanding officer's boardroom with commanding officer to provide update, starting with Bible Hill Town Hall. Now, all of this information came a result of this airing of grievances. Just kind of like unload what you know. Let's try and fix this stuff with IMT and I believe it was, who was it? Diamopoulos who picked it up. Now, that is the latest version, right? Okay, so this will take me a minute. If we go back in time, one moment. To July 7th. Get ready. This one's going to be a big one. If we go back to July 7th, to Leather's notebook, and you dig through it and find the July 7th entry, so you got to go through them. This is here. We no longer have the redacted version. We have the unredacted version. Oh, and what does it say? 10:35, met with Costa and Janice, re picto statement. That was redacted. At Crops, pre-meeting with CO Retruro, PS. Okay, so this is not a secret, right? Heidi's already said it, so that's fine. 2-hour recorded statement, left December 2019. That's obviously pre-April 2019 or 2020, right? Future of Joint Forces Operations, I think, is JFO. MCU, Detective Constable Lake. Detective Constable Lake is involved in this investigation. Halifax Regional Police. Not quite sure the reference here, why it's here. Jennifer Lake. Not sure if he's a victim. Don't know. How came to light? Through Sergeant Bernard. Remember Sergeant Bernard going poof? And how he got so angry? I got the videos in the back of my read-through with him. And he got very, very angry. He was using foul language, which is generally a no-no. So Sergeant Bernard said at a town hall, operational input post Portapique. Okay, so that's when he was unloading. Sex, privileged information issues, predatory allegations, personal information, focus of much of the information on propriety. Oh, Chief Chachetto has knowledge of some of the information. Picto confided in Julia. Now, for those of you know who Chief Chachetto is, Chief Chachetto, because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, 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 oh. Chief Chachetto appeared in, let's got the spelling wrong. Appeared at the mass casualty. Okay. Nova Scotia's first female police chief retiring. Counts increasing diversity among top accomplishments in Kentville. September 15th, 2021. Okay, there she is. Chief Chachetto also sits as, that's why I knew the name right away, and I'm like, oh, the president of the Nova Scotia Chiefs of Police Association. She is also the co-chair of Nova Scotia Chief of Police Subcommittee on Domestic Violence. Now, if I'm reading, which I could be reading this wrong, it sounds like Pictou County confided in Julia previous to this coming out about all the allegations, and she had prior knowledge of it. If she did, this is extremely serious, and didn't report it. It is extremely serious that it was not reported to begin with. Because we're talking about, I don't even know quite what's going on, but it's something really, really big. And if the president of the Nova Scotia Chiefs of Police did not report criminal activity going on, this is going to rain holy terror on all of Nova Scotia and all of the police forces. I'm not saying that is so, but reading here, Chief Chachetto has knowledge of some of the information Pictou confided in Julia. Now, when 1819 happened, Julia organized all of the chiefs. They all volunteered forces to supplement and help the RCMP. Now, this is why it might reevaluate everything. I don't know. I'm just saying things may have shifted drastically. My opinions on things may have well changed, but we'll see. So Chief Chachetto, going back to a lot of the emails from before, volunteered a lot of the other, she was the coordinator between all of the chiefs and volunteered forces to the RCMP to help post Port Pick, to give, relief and et cetera, et cetera. The RCMP, Julie Moss, turned it down. Could this be related? Could it be related? I don't know. It seems unlikely because of the surfacing of the evidence on sometime in June at Pictou. Now, I didn't even know there was a meeting at Pictou, funnily enough, but I'm aware of Amherst, and I was aware of Bible Hill, 2 town halls. I didn't know that there was one in relation also to Pictou. Okay, so that is really fucking serious. A couple of days to go, preliminary report. Members of Truro will not back up members on our calls. On calls. Now, and a Truro police officer, big RCMP hater. Who? Because that's not the way the new one reads. Are we getting led? I don't know. If Truro, think about this for a moment. Is this why RCMP didn't ask for help? Because they knew they weren't going to get backed up on their calls. Is that why so many people died? Okay. Jim Fleming completed his last day of work. Truro Police Service, October 3rd. He was Deputy Chief of Police. His daughter was just found missing and dead. Cynthia Fleming was her name, found dead in a tree. Okay, interesting to note. All right, I'll file that away. So obviously you can see that this is really, really bad. If this is in fact true, did Chief Chachetto, former chief, retired chief, who appeared at the Mass Casualty Commission, have prior knowledge of all of this, and is also on the Chiefs of Police Association, which, of course, kicked the RCMP out, right? If we go back to Sergeant Bernard, he talks about some stuff. Sergeant Bernard said, I'm out. Like, I can't deal with your guys' stuff anymore. Let's go back here. I read through his interview before, because to me he seems, again, I would say, one of the good guys. I'm just going to go look up at this is his MCC interview. I'm just going to go over my notes here, look for a quick second. I know you've talked about the relationship you have with Colchester Detachment, working relationship. Just wonder what extent, if at all, you worked with the municipal forces in Truro. Truro, again, that was complicated. So I was a constable in Truro in the 90s in Millbrook. So their leadership, their senior leadership, were constable in the streets. So I knew them very well. So I've known Chief McNeil and Deputy Hearn. Now those are the two names he's calling out since they've started, because we're all about the same vintage. Over the years, though, the relationship, I wouldn't call it strained, has become a little more complicated. The fact that when I return, I'll give you an example. When I returned to Truro after many years absence at different postings and major crime tours, I shouldn't say that. We had a few issues with major crime because we were mandated to audit some of their files. So it didn't have, they, believe some of the tension pre-existing with some of the RCMP members reviewing some of their files. Bernard reviewed Trudeau's files, right? This is why there's like problems, because they found problems maybe in their files and they didn't like certain things that might have were coming out. I don't know, just throwing it out there. So it didn't have, I believe there was some tension that was pre-existing with some RCMP members that were reviewing their files. But when I became sergeant in 15, went back, I believe I didn't get it right at that year. But I believe it was 16, Millbrook First Nations, only detachment in the entire province that had to have a school in the area, because the community of Millbrook is actually, sorry, I should back up, pre-1995. Okay, so he's going to go into some history here. Truro used to be Millbrook First Nation because the old reserve is entirely located within town boundaries. Much like it wouldn't be different. I don't know if you're familiar with the Sydney area. Member 2 is within town limits. Millbrook is the exact same. But, however, they treated the residents very poorly. They had no relationship, and the monies became available for, under the tripartite agreements in the early 90s. Millbrook community reached out to our national policing, and they were given a small detachment, a 3-man detachment. So Truro always had animosity with Millbrook because they lost the area. So anyways, then that's the prehistory. And then, some major crime stressors about file review and whatnot. Fast forward to when I'm a sergeant in charge now, and they know me, and as well too. I should say this too. Truro has a very colored and checkered past with Indigenous people. Primarily a prominent Indigenous woman, Victoria Paul, passed away in the cell block due to poor care. So historically, they have had a very, very bad relationship with the Mi'kmaq people. When I took over, I believe it was the spring of 16, that my mindset was ahead of the fall schedule and return, because I didn't have access to the schools. I went into town, all the students, Millbrook bused in my areas, elementary, middle school, high school levels. Well, I decided out of courtesy that I would just ask them for permission to have one of my community policing members of the school internally. Hello, okay. So then I met with Deputy Chief and Inspector Hearn, who was the operations officer. The three of them was told no, unless they could, what's in it for them? So we had this very negative, very, very negative, things were very negative after that. And I said, well, you can't stop me. I still can go. I still may. And it was an FU very sort of meeting. At the end of it, I didn't end up forcing the issue, although I did complain to Staff Holiday at district level, and it went nowhere. All right. So who is Staff Holiday, right? Staff Holiday is Pictou County. Staff Holiday. 2009, I was promoted to Staff Sergeant and put in charge of Pictou County District, just east of here. And again, I was responsible for operations, administration of about 35-member unit in Pictou County. In 2015, I moved to the position of District Commander in Pictou to District Advisory, NCO, as part of Northeast Nova. I'll sort of explain that for a bit. And then That's moved to the district policing officer until I retired January 2021. Now, the interview was conducted when? 2019, December. So, there are members from Pictou that had no, if we go back and look now with this information, you can fill in the holes in the SITREP report. Oh. Man, why does it keep resetting my window? It's weird. The Criminal Operations Officer H Division has initiated 2 detachment meetings post incident involving Gabriel Wortman. Now, these 2 meetings, like I said, I believed one was in Amherst and Bible Hill was the other one. So I didn't know anything about a Pictou meeting. I don't know. Does anybody else know about it? Post-shooting incident involved Gabriel Wortman. These meetings were in response to requests for answers relating to the shooting incident for frontline members. Criminal Operations Officer and members of his senior team attended where? Pictou? Members were provided an opportunity to ask questions, raise concerns. A neutral process that was set up, framework where issues could be brought forward. Dump it off your chest. Let's get it out in the open. Diamopolis. Several employees brought issues forward in writing to be addressed that are being addressed administratively. Now, during the review process, 2 persons, blank, came forward and provided information alleging serious criminal behavior committed by who? So, this is, I expect, going to be a detachment committed by Truro Police Services. The information relates to somebody having a sexual relationship with, I don't know, could that be Lake? I'm not sure. Detective Constable Lake. Again, I'm just speculating, but some of it can be filled in. And the diversion of source payment monies. So now you're talking about undercover stuff, and you're talking about, more importantly, informant. Information was received from a blank witness who was detailed a part of behavior, along with significant detail which blank described as predatory in nature. Now, obviously, Bernard is one of the informants. Details provided to, according to Leather's notes, details provided by the blank witness included the name of blank and significant details of civilian witnesses who observed suspicious activities of, I would say, the same person, right? The behavior in relation to his interaction with, again, unsaid person. Could it be Blake? I don't know. Has no connection to the RCMP as a source. Both blank witnesses provided details about serving police officers at what? Pictou Detachment, at Truro Police Services, including blank as being complicit in an overt action to cover up criminal activity. There is significant detail provided by both witnesses about non-criminal behavior in relation to the Police Act violation by several members of what? Remember that you still have Julia Chachetto mentioned, right? Chief Chachetto. Did she have prior knowledge of what was going on? How big was the cover-up? How vast does this go in Nova Scotia? Are we just talking about Truro? Are we just talking about maybe some officers, senior officers again? Senior. The Chief Chachetto is obviously a senior officer. A deputy chief or a chief in Truro is a senior officer. White shirts are a senior officer. I suppose a district NCO would be a senior officer. Pictou confided in Julia. When? And if members of Truro wouldn't back up members on calls, and that started back here, well, that might explain why they didn't really ask for help. From Truro. Again, I'm not saying that is the way that it is, but this is something obviously, yes, when Leather is talking about something really fucking serious and the mass casualty knows that it's really fucking serious because they stipulated to it in the interview, and it's going national, and we're talking about politicians now, and then it's getting buried by CERT because what was it that Felix said? What was his line? I'm not recalling correctly. And then you have the involvement of what? The gatekeeper? Brandon? Commanding officer mentioned that Mike there had skills suggestion, the crisis E division. Mike's released to H division, Mike Butcher, continued his work in the E division, but JVing H div salaries. His role is evolved, blah, blah, blah. Mike's role morphed in managing the data set, gatekeeper of all records. This was going to IMT, the sit rep shed. Superintendent John Robin reports directly to the CO, not to core ops. Okay, so that's cutting Leather out. I am unaware of Brian Sauvé's stuff. Brian Sauvé, late to the picture, dude. A month later, after they've been outed, and he's like, I suggest that maybe you should have the conflict of interest stuff resolved. This is huge. And then you had Carrie Petrosyan come in, Superintendent Carrie Petrosyan, who is the ethics officer, professional ethics officer, to review Butcher and Robin's appointment. She couldn't even figure out, because she thinks that Butcher was there a lot earlier than was reported. Not that he came Johnny come lately. No. He came early. But she couldn't ask any questions of anybody at HDiv. She was directed not to. You have the mention of source monies. I saw the mention the other day in the video when I was doing the dump. I read the word extortion. The diversion of source monies. And you're talking about, what was the other one? Ah, right. This. Ongoing corruption matter. Oh. Yeah. This is really fucking serious. Truro, Nova Scotia Chiefs, not backing up RCMP, RCMP not asking for help that night, and everybody, of course, and myself included. This is why I'm going to have to really possibly reevaluate things. Was it they didn't ask for help because they're shitty and they wanted to cover up their stuff? Or was it because they're afraid members of Truro will not back them up? So they don't call. So many people get murdered as a result. Is it all down to pissing matches, at least on 1819? Are many of the deaths attributable to pissing matches between said Truro police officer and the criminality that's going on of sexual assaults, diversions of money, cover-ups by senior officers? And when Felix sits there and says, like, well, there really wasn't a lot of evidence. Fuck that. If you read the SITREP report, it's pretty clear that there is a lot of evidence. There's text messages. There are people who recorded statements that I believe would be Bernard. You're talking about a sergeant in the RCMP. I don't think he's going to go out and lie and then retire from said force. He was pissed. Was he pissed at Halliday and stuff? Because he's like, fuck you guys, man. I talked to you guys so long about this. And I'm done. I saw what happened on the ground as a result of all of your fucking shit. People died. I can't deal with this force anymore. You follow? Am I explaining it well? I feel like I'm pissing in the wind half the time. Well, maybe more. Really, really fucking serious. Maybe all of this is, at least, I'm again not saying the instigating factors, but what took place in part that day was a result of all of this shit that's been going on. Obviously, it's going on. I don't think there's anybody who could say that it wasn't going on. And then Dave McNeil saying he was unaware of that situation. He's unaware, I believe. What was that? What he said? Let's see here. Hold on. And he had no comment. Where's that? Okay, so this is. So it's this one. And Heidi, they're all downplaying this shit, man. They really, really are. I mean, to say things like this, during the review process, redacted came forward alleging serious criminal behavior committed by blank. There are significant details by non-criminal behavior. Don't worry about that. How about the complicity to cover up? Those are some of the weaker quotes in this one. Has observed suspicious actions, predatory in nature. Predatory. What? Police? Details provided by blank witnesses included the name of blank, significant details of civilian witnesses who observed. So you got a bunch here, and then it goes on, I think dozens, it says, in relation to interaction with blank. There is no connection to RCMP. Both witnesses provided details to the serving officers at blank, including blank as being, so this would probably be Picto right here, C1. Both witnesses provided the details as being complicit in taking up or to cover up the criminal activity. There is significant detail provided by significant detail. No non-criminal behavior. Okay, fair enough. Then here, along with the cover-up of those actions by several members of senior command, white shirts. How many police forces are we talking about in the police association too? The chiefs? Information provided to RCMP was on record, and in the case of blank, audio recorded. That's going to be Darren Bernard, 2-hour meeting, I believe, right? The names of dozens of witnesses have been provided. Dozens. And Felix is like, well, it sounds like somebody who just had a bone to pick. Huh? You got dozens. Some are civilian, some are police, and some are RCMP. So you got 2 police forces in there, civilians, you got all kinds of shit. Individuals that came forward did so on their own and are willing to be interviewed. One witness has text messages, another has notes in his possession, I would presume, to corroborate some of what she is claiming, I would presume. She. Information received by RCMP witnesses reveals several members of blank were aware of blank actions. Somebody or somebody's, and are covered it up. That's what Heidi and all the media is leaving out. The cover-up. The senior officers. Multiple police departments. Details provided concerted effort to cover up these allegations by blank and the suppression of evidence by not referring the matter to CERT. And then when it gets referred to CERT, what does Felix do? What does Felix do? Well, the one-liner, right? He sends the one-line email, not on letterhead, with no investigation really. Leather's like, I don't know. I don't even know if it was conducted. CERT would not be investigating this matter. Yet, obviously, it was to the level that he's like, I don't even know if I have the resources to do that. I only have 4 people. Who's paying for this? And then suddenly he just changes his tune and magically loses his memory. What? What was my decision again? Are you telling me that I forgot? I wouldn't be investigating? You could just tell them that I didn't remember, right? I'm so dumb. I forgot. Let's not go there. I don't want to expose who's been putting pressure on me, too. This is really bad. Real fucking bad. Anyway. The next piece that I'm going to read is Felix's interview. I'll read that aloud. I do have to spend some time with my girlfriend, though. So, oh yeah, it's fucking bullshit, man. They're no longer accepting documents. Their stupid goddamn time frame, because they just want to ram it, like honestly, ram it through to families. Like, you only have a couple of days to talk about certain things. What the fuck are you talking about, man? You guys are still getting stuff. You guys are still conducting interviews. There are many people that you need to be conducting interviews. As a result of this, you better have Felix back. You better have John Robin come in to begin with. Butcher, Santa Suso, whoever the chiefs are that are involved, or if they're involved, whoever the white shirts are, whoever's involved in this stuff, how does it tie? Does it mean that police forces that night weren't backed up? That the RCMP had insufficient manpower? Is that one of the contributory factors? Because what? They members of Truro will not back up our members on calls. It's not an opinion. It's on the record. Obviously, there's other witnesses that can testify to this. I'm sure that there's many RCMP officers who get to testify to this. This will rip apart all of the policing in Nova Scotia. I mean, I don't know, again, why, where is it? Detective Constable Lake's name is thrown in here, Jennifer Lake. What the fuck does that have to do with it? Out of Halifax. You've got Kinsella, who's being super sketch with the interviews and everything. Wow. In the background. He doesn't want to answer questions. Remember him testifying? What the hell was he? Looking at the ceiling the entire time? What's going on with the police forces in Nova Scotia? Julia's out the door. If she was aware of this and also is sitting on the domestic violence thing for all of the chiefs of Nova Scotia, this is fucking outrageous. Now it begins to make sense why Bernard was never called to testify. Proactively talk. Well, I mean, again, I would say go back to either on your own time or go to the videos where I read them aloud, his statements, and he's not a happy camper. He's not happy. And he said, to hell with all of you. Is that because he reported this shit? Nobody listened to him. Halliday, buried it. I don't know. Who's burying what? Halliday's poof. Letter dated October 21st on this topic, DOJ. I don't know if I've read that one. I don't think so. So let's have a look. This is really, really crazy. And I think, funnily enough, probably one of the things the biggest things are keeping in the background, at least right now, to do with that specific night and whatever else this issue has to relate it to. And you've got the corruption thing going on. Letter regarded ongoing. Documents revealed, thank you very much. We make reference, invasion for that. Following observations, documents related to, so let's link that. Commission Council, October 20. The documents pertain to the allegations of wrongdoing the part of members and another police service. Okay, so obviously we know that's for sure Truro, and God only knows, that predated the mass casualty but came to light after it. The RCMP then decided to refer the matter to CERT for its investigation. We disagree with the assertion that this matter relates to the Commission's mandate. Okay, so yeah, of course they don't want the people digging around, including police quote, police actions, operational tactics, response, decision-making, supervision, and quote, communications within RCMP. No, I would say it absolutely has a bearing, especially if the response 18 and 19, we don't want to call on you because you're going to fucking, who knows what you'll do. Remember, in that original report, it says right here, this is a very key line. One witness provided several examples of both routine and high-risk calls, because obviously an RCMP officer, where safety of RCMP officers could be compromised and civilians could be placed at risk. Looking at Chris's notes there, does that now make sense? Does it make sense when it says members of Truro will not back up our members on calls? Okay, so you have no backup. And civilians and officers being compromised and placed at risk. Now you're jeopardizing lives. And were people murdered on 1819 as a result? I disagree with Dingbat's opinion. I shouldn't say those things, but where did that go? Right, here. Who is this? Lori. Just because Lori, who turns over documents at the last minute all the time. Oh, I disagree. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Fuck you, it doesn't. In our view, the matter does not pertain to police actions on the 1819, nor does it engage communications between entities listed above. Really? Really? If Truro and RCMP can't talk to each other, would that have an effect on things? No, sorry, Lori, fail. Go back to law school. Get out of daycare. Because you can't even put up a pillow fight. Nonetheless, when the matter was interviewed, Superintendent Diamopoulos, August 30th, and the Commission Council advised August 30th. See, notice the dates, very important, right? If the mass casualty doesn't know about the SIT report because they don't issue it until, around September 23rd. I think it was actually the day that I did the video. Then how the fuck could they ask Diamopoulos about it? That's why they do that. Oh, we just got the evidence. Oh, but we can't ask them because they're gone. Diamopoulos came in August. We got it 20 days later, so we can't ask. And the Commission Council advised August 31st that they had considered the matter relevant. We agreed to locate and provide related documents, including those which had previously been collected, and as part of our compilation, the matter relevant to Commission's mandate, contrary to the assertion, contrary to the letter October 20, subpoena dated August 31st. Good, yes, because we have to send out a subpoena. We only have 3 weeks left. Still subpoenaing things now, which served on September 1st, did not request related documents above cert referral. It did request, among other things, June 18th, situational report related to a sexual serious assault on an RCMP member. I believe that was what Sad Mafioso was putting out. But like I'd say this one kind of takes the cake. And frankly, I've never even heard of anything like this. It's unbelievable. In the event that we provide a July CERT report, a SIT report related to the CERT referral to Mr. Cromwell, because Mr. Cromwell is just banging it out in the background. There are some people who are really trying here. I'd say Rachel Young is in there. I'd say Mr. Judge Cromwell, Justice Cromwell. I'd say he is a Supreme Court justice. I believe you have to still entitle him correctly, Lori. Canadian Supreme Court. I think the title sticks, even if you retire. Who knows? She's got her law degree out of a Tic Tac box or whatever the fuck she got it out of. Other related documents were subsequently located and provided without subpoena. Guess what? Just go to Chris. He's got it all. And whatever he's got riding around in the background protecting his ass, first of all, say your prayers for him. And second of all, I think he's got dead man switches all over the place. These people have protected themselves. You've got this whole thing is just disgusting. Disgusting, and you've lost like a ton of good members. Tons. And not just Nova Scotia. All across the country, and you've destroyed your entire fucking police force. You want to talk about tarnishing? Good job. And you just continue. You can't stop. You're out of your fucking gourd, man. You might as well throw whoever it is. I don't care if it's fucking Trudeau. I don't care. They're all gone. You're not saving anybody now. Blair's already gone. I mean, he's coming back. Didn't they say that there's going to be another mass casualty? And there better be a fuckload more. Because there are a lot of people, as a result of this nonsense, that generate a ton more questions. And equally, my eyes are like, what the hell is wrong with all of you that, again, September 23rd, I'm fucking sending all of you guys messages to say, what the fuck? You better look at this one. This is really serious. CBC, all of everybody knew Jagmeet and what? Crickets. And then you got Heidi, who I sent it to. Oh, guess what happened yesterday? I just found this. No. Does this play any relevance into what Tim was tweeting? Tim's interesting set of tweets, which, I mean, he threw Tara under the bus. There is no doubt about it. And that was very intentional. And Very sad that you would stoop to such a level, is all that I can say. Where is it? His weird tweets. One of the saddest, most personally upsetting things for me running a news organization, this is last night, is I can't always explain the decisions I make. So many competing values, competing issues. I can vaguely speak to some of those, but others, not at all. For example, I have knowledge of some terrible shit, but have not been able to report it for various reasons, sometimes legal, sometimes way more complicated. So the balls are in the handbag? Is that what happened? Journalism is where? A few years ago, there was somebody criticizing me or X. I didn't respond because I knew that person was suffering from mental health issues. People hated on me because of the person's criticism, but responding that no, I'm not hating on you because of mental health issues or any of that nonsense. I'm hating on you for your actions in respect to not reporting. Additionally, and I think this is all going to come around one day. It will. All of the people that have been sandbagging Tara in the background, you're going to be having questions to answer about that one too. There's something similar to the MCC coverage. Lots of people believed something was true, but if I reported it the way that counter truth, it would have outed someone's mental health. Well, you were supporting Lisa Banfield the entire time with no substantive evidence. This is difficult to believe. If you've got it, bring it. Let's see. Then there are other reasons for doing things that, if I explained, would be unfair to people out there or completely innocent people or to my employees. And the very act of explaining would be a bad act. There are some people charged with crimes. One of the people in this story got arrested. Obviously, in order to be arrested, the sit-rep, July 10th, arrested in reference to this. So obviously, if somebody's been arrested, there's been some investigation. So you can't say, well, I just decided there was nothing there. Well, you had something there because you arrested somebody. Source payments? I mean, this is outrageous. And there was another interesting line I dug up. Where's that? Did I remove that? One moment. Oh, come on. Maybe I didn't put it in here. Shit, I didn't. Well, it seems to be missing. I know I spoke about it to this person. There is mention of, and again, I'm not trying to throw too much out on the table. God only knows what's true now, but that's why the truth has to come, and they have to do like just absolute, none of this fuckaroonies and traumas, and they have to do a real, true investigation. None of the fuckaroonies that, oh, you can decide what not to put in there, or if you don't want to come and talk, you don't have to, and we caught you in a lie. Oh, don't worry about it, and we're not going to charge you if you transfer gardens. It's okay. No, no, no. Those days are gone. It mentioned the CERT/ICE referral. /ICE referral. ICE is only one of two things that I know of. Internet child exploitation, job porn on the internet. Not sure where that's coming from. Or it could refer to a database that the RCMP used. But frankly, I don't think a database makes a referral. So, why is that in Leather's notes? The CERT/ICE investigation. One moment, please. So, I'm not trying to complicate things. Who knows how much snow has been thrown out there? I don't know. Is it the RCMP's next level on how to defend itself? Frankly, I think that Leather is telling the truth. I just didn't have to say nothing about nothing. And look at the guy. Look at him. Does he look like he's been having a good day? Now I'm going to have to make peace with God because I railed on him something heavy. Well, maybe that's... Anyway. Order to vacate subpoena. Right. I would say July 10th, 2020, just like April 28th, 2021, this video is going to be a very fucking bad day. Thank you very much for joining me. God bless you all. God bless the 23.